Assalamu alaikum, welcome to Game Changer. I am Mariam Zia. In today's program, we will be exploring the political center of South Asia, that is Pakistan, and the general elections that are slated to be held on February 8th, 2024. Of course, when we talk about Pakistan, we know that there are more than 128.5 million registered voters that are hopeful to use their, of course, right of vote, and they are hoping for political and economic stability in Pakistan. In today's program, we will be exploring different dimensions of general elections 2024. We know that Election Commission of Pakistan has, of course, unveiled the final list of constituencies comprising of 266 National Assembly seats and 593 Provincial Assembly seats. And of course, the distribution of these seats across Pakistan reflect the diverse tapestry of Pakistan, with Punjab having 141 seats, Sindh 51 seats, KP 45 seats, Balochistan 16 seats, and Islamabad 3 seats. Of course, in today's program, we will be exploring the dimensions of these general elections, in which different political parties are, of course, having negotiations with each other, and they are, of course, also catering to the voters as well. We will also be talking about the year 2023 and the challenges that Pakistan faced in 2023, of course, terrorism, economic instability, as well as political instability, and the forthcoming elections, how the next government will be, of course, tackling and addressing these issues. We will be exploring all these issues in today's program. I will be introducing my panelists, but before that, our team has prepared a report. Let's watch that.
The second phase of the forthcoming 2024 general elections is well underway, and all major contestants have submitted their nomination papers and documents to the Election Commission. In Lahore, political leaders will contest for 14 National Assembly and 30 Provincial Assembly seats. Major contestants include PMLN's top leader Nawaz Sharif, who has submitted his papers for Lahore's NA 130 constituency, Mariam Nawaz, who has submitted papers for NA 119 and NA 120, Shahbaz Sharif, who has submitted papers for NA 132 and NA 123, Hamza Shahbaz has filed for NA 118, Atta Tarar for NA 117 and NA 120, Sardar Ayaz Sadiq for NA 120 and 121, Mariam Aurangzeb for reserved women's seat in both national and provincial assemblies, Khwaja Saad Rafiq has submitted papers for NA 122, and Pakistan People's Party's Bilawal Bhutto Zardari has submitted his papers for Lahore's NA 127 constituency. Lahore's commercial and business districts and many residential areas, which include Mall Road, Hall Road, Anarkali, the city's downtown and interior areas, have been strongholds of the PMLN for decades, where it has commanded a huge voter base for many years. The party has won elections in these areas consistently. The party also has achieved various mega projects in the provincial capital and Punjab. This is why most analysts believe the PMLN holds a dominant position and is the strongest political party in Lahore and many districts of Punjab. Lahore has 6.7 million registered voters, the highest in Punjab. In Lahore, 470 candidates have submitted forms for 14 NA seats, and 1,408 candidates have submitted forms for 30 provincial assembly seats. The build-up to the fateful February 8th polling day continues.
Right now, scrutiny process is going on at the offices of returning officers, and this process will be continued till 30th of December. Afterwards, the list of contesting candidates will be published and displayed in front of the offices of returning officers. And after the scrutiny process, filing of appeals will start at the tribunals. Election tribunals are already notified by the Election Commission of Pakistan. And after the process of filing of appeals and their decisions, the final list of candidates, in which the symbols will be allotted by the returning officers, it will be displayed on 13th of January. And afterwards, on 8th of February, the polling day will be conducted.
Of course, we were watching this report prepared by our team, and when we talk about this upcoming elections, we know that youth bulge is going to be an important factor and maybe a game changer because 45% of the total voters account for the people that are in the age group of 18 to 35. Of course, we will be exploring all these dimensions and also the seat adjustment and other alliances forming and how they are going to demonstrate and maybe change the political landscape of Pakistan. To discuss this and more, we are joined in the studios by Mr. Anik Zafar, who is political analyst. Welcome to the program. We are also joined by Mr. Shahriyar Khan, who is commentator, political and international affairs. Welcome to the program. And we are joined online by Dr. Hasnain Javed, who is economist and of course international affairs expert. Welcome to the program. Mr. Anik, let me start with you. Of course, we've seen the report as well, and of course, we know that as each day is passing, more and more parties are having meetings amongst themselves in their parliamentary board and with other parties as well. How do you see and analyze all these alliances forming, especially when we talk about Punjab?
Well, because center of attention is Punjab, so alliance making here will be very, very interesting, and we will have to see that how Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz and Istihkam Party IPP join hands, whether they adjust seats or not. That is going to be crucial. There has been a lot of talk, there have been meetings, but nothing concrete so far has come out. The time for that will be after the 13th.
Of course, yes.
Because till 10th there are appellate tribunals. On 11th, final list of candidates, and 13th is the previously it was allocation of symbols. So after that, obviously there will be a time when you can withdraw.
Of course,
so 12th
is the date, I think.
No, I think it should be a little later, I think. I will have to check, sorry. But that is the time when parties will have finally decided who is their candidate, whether they are going to adjust with other parties or not. In Punjab, PMLN hopes to get a major share, so they will be reluctant to accommodate too many people. They are already under pressure because of lot of aspirants to their tickets, and even there are reports that they may have to sort of compromise on some of their major leaders or major contestants who have in the past been very loyal to the party, but because there are many aspirants and there is pressure on adjusting a few other contestants who supported the no confidence motion. So all those dynamics are at play. Most importantly,
and how important is the urban-rural dynamic when we talk about Punjab politics? How important is the leaders' popularity? Of course, in parallel to the alliances within the district politics, because there are of course opinions that district politics and family politics plays its part when we talk about this.
It does. It does to a great deal in the peri-urban areas and rural areas, but we must not forget that that difference of communication gap or the access to information gap has considerably reduced in the last decade or so due to the apps like TikTok and Facebook and all that. So even in the rural areas, people have access to information. They are now not following the urban areas or not following only the information being provided by their elders, by their biradari or all that. Now they are also relying on information they are getting from other sources.
Right,
so
right.
we will have to see that
right.
how it plays in this election. But I also do not think that that we should be taking Pakistani youth as a monolith and decide that, okay, the youth is in the camp of this party or the youth is in the camp of that party. That's now how it plays out in the elections.
Right, right. So, Shehryar, when we talk about, of course, youth bulge and ECP data also shows that 45% of our voters are young people. And like Anik Saab mentioned, that there is a lot of information to them. But the question remains that are those voters going to be actually coming to the ballots? And because what's your take on the election activity and, of course, the enthusiasm of these voters?
So, Mariam, youth across the globe, they take elections very seriously because their futures basically depend on it. And even when we see Pakistan, I see a lot of energy in the youth, and they definitely will be taking these elections very seriously. Other than that, as we know, over 60% of our population is constitutes young people, and Pakistan is going through a major democratic, or I could even say demographic shift as well. A lot of the youth historically which came from rural areas, they've now there's a major trend of them moving into urban areas as well, in universities. They're
Right,
in the job market,
voter
employment.
turnout still remains a question, because when we look at the figures from elections 2018 as well, the young voters were less compared to the overall voter percentage. But Dr. Sen, let's move towards the alliances of parties. What's your take on, especially when we talk about Punjab? Let's start from Punjab. The different alliances that we are seeing, different meetings of parliamentary boards are also taking place. Do you see challenges for People's Party when we talk about Punjab, and what kind of setup or electoral strategy do you see of different parties?
All I can see the little upset in Punjab. Most of the people predict that the PMLN get the maximum output. But to me, of course, electable has been in touch with the PMLN. But the idea is most of the people are running their election by their own. I mean, they are not associated with any parties. So independents are much more higher in the position. So those independents, whether it is in Punjab, whether it is in Sindh, whether it is in KPK, and whether it is in Balochistan, altogether it would be a little upset. It would goes to the PPP. So no party, not a single party will get the absolute majority. So I am of the idea that I can see that maybe with the calculation and with the prediction, I can see the People's Party will be in the better position to make the government, because under this situation where we can see that this is the third election in 2024, and appeals against the decision of returning officer of rejecting and accepting nomination. So these are the overall processes going on. But the whole size of the government must be shrink, and very important thing is that it is a different sort of politics, and neither of the party is directly connected to the people. So I am still waiting for the economic manifesto.
Let's talk about the other major party as well, PTI. How does the recent rejection of nomination papers of key PTI leadership, of course, impacts their electoral prospects?
Yeah, of course, you can see the impact would be there. But of course, the most of the shocking people, it would be, I would say that there would be the wandering situation. Nobody can think of it, but most unknown faces will appear. And I would say they will get the shock, because most of the electables will not win as per the situation, because the situation on the ground, on the Punjab, where people think that the PPMLN is very much strong, but this time around it would be changed because of the demographical change. As per the statistical analysis,
demographical changes are significant, Dr. Sen, but do you think that these demographics are going to be reflected in actual voter turnout?
Yes, of course. I mean, turnout Initially, I had the calculation that maybe the turnout would be low. But this time around, after seeing the actual consequence analysis and under the UC's analysis, I have seen under the MNAs, then MPAs, and the UCs, I can predict that most of the people will come for the election, and the voter turnout would be higher. And after having this said this, the most of the people will go to the People's Party. And for example, the IPP, Pakistan Istehkam Party, they are more flexible towards the Asif Ali Zardari. And the other parties, maybe it is the BAP party in Balochistan, then is the, I think it is yet not been decided that who is been getting how much seats, because the seat adjustment is not been done in Karachi. So MQM most likely goes to the People's Party. So what I can see is a total upset. So 90 plus seats will go to the People's Party, and if it happens, and then maybe like 60 to 65 seats will goes to PMLN, and rest assured the other peoples, maybe it is from the PTI, they will catch it by the PPP. So the major government will be.
Right, of course, Dr. Singh, we will come back to you. Maybe it's too early to predict the mood of the people because we are anticipating the final list of candidates to be published by ECP on 11th of January. Do you see any, any changes in the political landscape after that? Because we know that the nomination papers of major names have been rejected at this point in time. So, what's your analysis?
Coming to the rejection of the papers, historically in the last 4 or 5 elections, the percentage of papers rejected varies from 10% to 14%. The highest number rejected was in 2013, that was 14%, and this time it's 12%. Okay, so it is.
So it's within the normal.
It is the normal range of
right.
Rejections, and obviously, and that is the first stage, the returning officer stage, right, whereby people then go to the Appellate Tribunal or the High Court. We have seen in the past that people have even won their right to contest by going to the High Court just 15 days ahead of the elections. 10
right.
days ahead
and
of the
many
elections.
people whose papers were previously accepted, they were rejected in the later stage.
Because,
yes.
for example, the prime candidate of Prime Ministership, Mia Muhammad Nawaz Sharif's papers have been accepted by the returning officer, but today someone has already challenged his papers in the Appellate Tribunal. And it was expected that major candidates will be challenged at one stage or the other. So this is normal part of the election process. There can be a discussion that one party has faced more brunt of it, but again they have forums for appeal. Like they went to Peshawar High Court against ECP's decision on their
election.
That is entirely a different discussion whether High Court had jurisdiction in this matter or not. I think not, but let the lawyers and the courts decide that. Now coming back to the point that whether we can predict right now, we cannot predict right now. After the candidates list is finalized,
after 11th of January,
11th of January, 13th, when formally parties have decided which will be their candidate, then there has to be an analysis candidate to candidate, which candidate has what strength, because candidates matter, the general trend matters, and again I may agree and I am of the opinion that coalition government is the way forward. That is the true reflection of Pakistan's political dynamics. And any party who will be able to cobble together a good coalition and is a good coalition manager will be able to form the government, regardless whether it is PMLN or PPP or PTI, whatever party. But it will all depend whether you are able to cobble together the alliance and manage that alliance on the long term. If you are going to, if any party thinks that it is going to just sweep the elections, that is not what Pakistan's political ground reality is.
Of course, but formation of the government is the next step. At this point in time, we are, of course, as usual, practice in general elections is that different parties are having allegations against each other and against ECP as well, and different stakeholders about the pre-poll rigging as well. And of course, foreign observers play an important role when we talk about Election Commission of Pakistan. How do you think that ECP is going to ensure free and fair and of course transparent elections with of course presence of foreign observers?
So, Mariam, trust in the democratic process is like very essential for any thriving democracy. The Election Commission, I'm sure, will like do its best to make the elections and like the polling transparent. But generally and historically, if you look at the electoral processes or the elections historically as well, every party that basically loses out historically in Pakistan, they basically have raised questions on the legitimacy of the electoral process. One of the reasons why Pakistan invites observers, especially from the European Union, is to make some sort of like legitimacy to the process. When international observers come and they basically go to various constituencies to see how the polling day processes work and how people are like coming out and casting their votes. What is the whole architecture of the way elections take place in Pakistan. They basically release their comments and they also release a report on how the whole process was like taking place. So this like gives legitimacy.
And what do you make of the current enthusiasm of public towards the forthcoming elections?
I personally think the public has a lot of interest because their economic interests and their social interests are tied to this election especially. 2024 will be a very important year, not just for Pakistan, but across the globe as well. Over 40 countries are going into electoral processes or elections this year. So, and Pakistan, again, if we talk about the challenges are vast and they are very great. And if people take place or people take part in these electoral processes, they basically feel that the whole direction in which the country has to go in 2024 would definitely be linked to these elections.
Right. So, of course, we discussed about Punjab, Dr. Hasnain. Let's talk about other provinces as well. What's your take on the political realignments in Sindh, where, of course, People's Party is meeting with MQM and other parties, and, of course, PMLN is also having meetings. How do you see all these realignments and seat adjustment meetings that are taking place?
So as you see in the recent meeting with the Shehbaz Sharif Saab, they haven't made any deal yet because the MQM is demanding 12 seats in federal and more than 12 seats in the lower constituency.
Anik Saab, the same question to you. How do you see the adjustments and the situation in Sindh, specifically, of course, PPP and of course MQM and PMLN also having important meetings with MQM leaders, and of course some MQM members have already changed their alliances. How do you see?
Okay, in terms of electoral alliance, I don't see that MQM is entering into any electoral alliance either with the PPP or PMLN. There was a discussion between PMLN and MQM, but that did not pan out. And the recent meeting between former Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and MQM leadership sort of sealed the fate that both parties are going to contest on their own. PMLN may try to enter into an alliance with GDA,
yes.
But GDA, of course, in some constituencies, PMLN and GDA may have some impact. But right now, I don't see them putting up a major challenge to PPP's stronghold in the rural areas. And if PMLN and MQM are not in alliance, and PTI is in wilderness, as it appears that PTI will not be entering into any alliance with anyone, or we can frame it as no one is looking to enter into an alliance with PTI right now. So in that sense, I think even in Karachi, PPP will have some gains, and MQM will have some gains, and as compared to the last elections, PTI may lose seats, because they had around 14 seats last time, and those were not really reflective of Karachi's reality. And again, because one major influencer of Karachi politics will be boycotting as usual, and Sindh, as I said, in rural Sindh, I don't think PPP has any serious challenge. They will be perhaps at least maintaining their numbers in rural Sindh as they had won the last time. So Sindh politics is almost rural Sindh is almost sorted out. Only Karachi's seats are up for grab, and I think plus minus MQM will have some majority in Karachi, depending on the candidates and all that. We will have yet to have a look at the electoral field, final electoral field, but PPP, I think, is making some grounds in urban areas of Sindh now.
Right, but Dr. Sen, how are the calls by PTI for, of course, joint alliances with PPP and ANP could be viewed in terms of the new political alliances? Do you see something happening there?
Yes, of course. I would see, for example, of course, the PTI will take the lead, but the most of the candidate will go to the those party who is forming the government. So maybe possible, for example, in my calculation, the maximum the parties and independent winners will go to the People's Party, because whole of the science over there in the Sindh. And as you see in the different election, in the Baldiyati election, or what you can the different election from there in Karachi, so situation is very much different. So Jamaat Islami is a very important part of this electoral process. So altogether, those all candidates will join together with the People's Party, and most probably the whole of the idea would be broken by the, of course, Asif Ali Zardari. And the most important thing is the Bilawal Bhutto Zardari is connecting to the people with the manifesto, and the manifesto is very much important. As per the 18th Amendment, he says that we have to squeeze down the seats and the ministerial position, because the whole of the government size is about the 84% or 84 of the cabinet size, or the 89 of the cabinet size, or the 88 of the cabinet size. We have to reduce down, and same as Bilawal Bhutto Zardari says it all. And austerity drive is very much important, because the 22% of the government expenditure of the total GDP is very much high, and the footprints of the or what you can call it, the government footprints in the government is quite about the 80%, and few of the reports say 65%, 67%, and to me there are the 80% of the government footprints in every organization. So we have to squeeze down the number, and the very most important thing is we have to have the manifesto, and manifesto is just not about that we have to open the Benazir Income Support Fund or any other support funds. Rather, we have to reduce, given the idea of the export-led society, and we have to give the production, we have to maintain the, per capita GDP, because the current amount, for example, estimate contracted by 0.6. So we have to jump in up. So most of the World Bank and other reports says that we can go up by 1.5. So
right,
all
right.
the political
We would
parties
talk about, of course, economics of this later in the program. But let's talk about the potential impacts of militant groups in these elections, specifically when there are threats of attacks on some specific parties. What's your take on that? What kind of strategies should be employed, or the government or the ECP or the relevant stakeholders are employing or need to be employing to, of course, attract the voters in the forthcoming elections, but also to ensure the security of the leadership as well?
As far as the security is concerned, I am very much hopeful that the Chief of Army Staff has said that the election goes smooth and there will be no any interruption. And of course, the security has been given and fine security has been given, and of course there would be no any lapse or something like that, because the Pakistan military is always taking care of this and I'm sure about that they will execute all of the security plan in a very
Right.
important
But
way.
yesterday
So,
we have seen a major terrorist attack on Maulana Fazlur Rahman Saab as well. So and there are other threats as well. Do you see these militant groups impacting elections in some way?
maybe possible, but of course, I mean, that area, the Maulana Fazlur Rahman Sahib says, already says, and he predict that there would be chances to have the terrorist attacks and other things. So we have to prolong the election, and we are not going in the way because the security clearance is not that much on the higher stake. But this is his opinion. To me, there is no security lapse, there would be no security issue, and there is no security threat to any of the positions. So everything is smooth, and just this will be the political statement by him, maybe, because the militant groups from their side or the Dera Ghazi Khan side, they must have to be protected on that way. So, but election time and election system and or the election security is being provided by the Pakistan military, and of course I cannot see any of the threat of this kind, because election is very much important, because we are in the standby agreement. We are in the standby agreement. We have to go for the 24th evaluation of the.
Of course, and
24th
negotiations are to be
and we have to
expected
get for the
in
IMF.
April, and that is very important that we have free, fair, and secure elections. Of course, we will be talking more about it, but after a short break. Welcome back. Of course, we are talking about general elections 2024 that are slated to be held on February 8th in Pakistan. And of course, with the announcement of elections, with the political and economic instability that Pakistan witnessed in 2023, we are witnessing now a positive upsurge and positive trend in Pakistan Stock Exchange as well. And we have prepared our report on this. Let's watch the report.
Pakistan Stock Exchange broke the records of the past and benchmark touched above 67,000 points, so the Pakistan Stock Exchange is declared as the best stock market of the world during 2023. This excellence is credited to the acting government reforms. Acting Prime Minister of Pakistan, Mr. Anwar Haq Kakar visited Pakistan Stock Exchange, Karachi in December 2023 and appreciated the robust performance of the Pakistan Stock Exchange. The 100 index was trading above 42,000 points at the end of 2022 and improved due to the measures of the present acting government.
During the year 2023, it has been declared the best performing market of the world. All achievements are credited to present caretaker government. Best economic policies were implemented. Because of these policies, now currency is stable, interest rate on treasury bill and Kaibor are on declining trend. Successfully completion of IMF review and many other incredible achievements are happened.
The acting government launched a crackdown on illegal currency market, curbing dollar smuggling to the neighboring countries, which surged the stock market indirectly. The crackdown against illegal dollar hoarding and financial assistance from friendly countries appreciated the rupee and depreciated the dollar in the currency market. The crackdown by the government against illegal currency market redirected investment to the stock market. The acting government's successful negotiation with IMF restored the local and international investors' confidence in the stock market and economy of Pakistan.
Now, multilateral and bilateral donors are able to provide further financial assistance. Election date has been announced. which will minimize the political uncertainty. Corporate earnings for the period of 9 months increased by 66%, dividend yield increased by 30%, KSE 100 index gains 54% in second half 2023.
The performance of Pakistan Stock Exchange shows the strength of the economy of Pakistan, which is progressing with fast pace. Ali Asghar Arbab, PTV World, Karachi.
Of course, we have seen this report, and this shows that the big trends and big gains that Pakistan Stock Exchange is witnessing at the beginning of new year. This is a positive sign. How do you see these trends in, of course, Shehjar, how do you see these trends at Pakistan Stock Exchange? How positive is this? And of course, do you see some political stability as well as economic stability with the forthcoming elections?
So Mariam, like a positive trend in a stock market, it basically gives an indicator of what people basically have a trust in the economic system. They see stability and they see that their investments would be safe. So when economic activity starts like taking place, when people show confidence in the economy, that's when they start like investing, and like the stock market like starts like going up. This also shows that a lot of like businesses now basically see that the economic turmoil that Pakistan went through in the last year. So we're like kind of like getting over it, and now the economy is moving more towards stability, and the economy is now ripe for investments as well. So a lot of like firms which basically were holding on to capital, or they were like investing in real estate or other areas in which they basically thought that their investments are safe, they're now taking that money out and they're like now pumping it back into the economy. So this is a very positive trend, and I see in 2024 this trend continuing. Other than that, the whole IMF and like the economic stability, it's also like dependent on how the new incumbent government, when it like takes the oath, it would be going into renegotiation with the IMF for a longer 3-term program. So that also gives a positive indicator to all the investors that this like stability at which Pakistan is like now moving, this will continue in 2024 as well. And I see more positive trends in the stock market in the coming years.
Right. Dr. Sen, what's your take on this, of course, positive trend at the Pakistan Stock Exchange? Especially, we see that the benchmark KSE 100 index surged 2.52% to cross 64,000 mark in today's morning session. How do you see this in relation to the forthcoming elections and of course the political as well as the economic stability that all the voters and Pakistanis are hoping for?
For this reason, I just really appreciate the General Asim Munir sir, because the black market, the grey market, and the real exchange and real effective rate is being balanced. And now there is just difference of the 4 rupees in the dollar. So 281 in the open market, in the intermarket, and the open market rate is 284. So by this, the stock exchange, you have seen that the big mark KSE 100 index is surged at 1573.81 points, or 2.52% to cross the 64,000. So 64,000 mark in the morning session. So this is very good, and this is just because of the real effective exchange rate. And most important thing is, of course, the black market and the grey market and the smuggled market, which is being, taken care by the Pakistan military, and I really appreciate for that. But the really important problem is our next term in option, which is about without the sharp fiscal adjustment and a device implementation of the broad-based reforms, Pakistan economy will remain vulnerable to domestic and external shocks. And one thing is very much important. So far now is under the interim government, it is freezed. The economy is completely on the hold. And that's why there is no black and grey market. But the upcoming government, which is the national government, or the what we can call it the coalition government, they must have to make the policies so that the dollar would be maintained and the Pakistan rupee would be appreciated. And very much important.
Of course, this is very important. Let me take the same question to Mr. Anik. What's your take on this, that how the political parties are actually addressing this key concern of Pakistani voters regarding the economic fragility?
Well, all the parties are
because
within
this is
their
not going to be a
economic
piece of
framework.
cake, whoever makes the
Yeah,
government.
of course, it will be a very, very tough ride.
Yes.
We will have to, in April, we will have to, in April, May, we will have to go into a fresh IMF program,
Yes.
most probably, because we have seen in the past that whenever we have dragged our feet on that, we have suffered. We have, Pakistani rupee has depreciated. And markets have become unstable.
But do you see this key concern of people in actual manifestos of the political parties?
Well, manifestos. To be fair, manifestos in Pakistan are a lot of verbosity and less focus on policy. It promises a lot. All manifestos promise a lot, but policy options, where to fund and finance such promises, that is sadly missing in most parties' manifestos. As Mr. Hasnan Javed also said, that we will need fundamental reforms, and that will the best time for the governments, political governments, to go into reforms across the board is the time when they come in. First 1 year is most crucial for your policy initiatives, because you are going through your honeymoon period. If you delay that, then you lose footing, and then incumbency factor starts in. By the third year, you are looking at the next election and all that. So first year is the most crucial, and we will have to see that which party actually can deliver on the reforms agenda, because we will have to address the elite capture of this state. We will have to provide opportunities to our youth. We will have to focus on making people productive. Instead of doling out goodies, we have to focus on making people productive. We have to focus on taxing those sectors which are not contributing. So all these things are to be done by a political government.
Of course.
I was reading through a story today that the caretaker government has refused one of the proposal of FBR by saying that this is something which should be left to the political government.
Of course, that is very important,
Yeah.
and unfortunately we are running out of time. Thank you very much, Mr. Aneek Zafar, for joining us in
Thank
today's
you.
program. Thank you very much, Mr. Shehjar Khan, for joining us in today's program. Thank you very much, Dr. Hasnan Javed, for joining us in today's program. Of course, we navigated the complexities of general elections 2024 that are to be held on February 8th, 2024, and of course, we know that the challenges are huge, specifically regarding the economic fragility of Pakistan, and this is need of the hour that of course all the stakeholders rise above the petty differences and rebuild a Pakistan where unity thrives. That's all from Game Changer tonight. Take care. Allah Hafiz.